So, hello and welcome. This is our cognitive skills video number 6. Today we're going to talk about ABCDE technique. Let me first revise what we learned in the previous videos, and then we will dive into this technique and how it can help you. So, in the previous videos we learned what? First of all, the same event can be interpreted in different ways. So, your friend didn't call you. One person will think that, oh, nobody loves me and feel sad. Another person will think that, oh, this friend is an asshole, he doesn't respect me, and be angry. Third person will think, oh, maybe my friend has some trouble, and be worried. So you see, the way we think about some event shapes our perception of this event and shapes our perception of a life, of our own self-image, of other people, of the world around us, and so on. So this was number one. It's like kind of glasses that color our life in one way or another. What is good and what is bad, what is our fault, what is not our fault, what is in our control, what is out of our control, is the world fair or not fair. All those are interpretations of reality that we make in our mind. This was number one. So the way we interpret reality. Number two, to simplify all the kinds of different interpretation styles that we have, we can separate them in two major ones: optimistic and pessimistic. Interpretation style is the style in which our brain is used to interpret reality. Some people have it more optimistic, some more pessimistic, and of course each of us has their own unique interpretation style, and this style can change during life. So but we're gonna make it simple and just divide in optimistic and pessimistic. What's the difference? Optimists explain bad, negative events as something impersonal, so doesn't have to do anything with me personally, and as something, how to say, and as something temporary and just one event. So for example, if I didn't pass the exam, I will think that it's not my fault, it's the teacher's fault because they made a very difficult exam. So I will explain it in this way to myself if I am this optimistic interpreter. And I'm gonna think that it's just one time that I didn't pass the exam. It doesn't mean anything big about me. Pessimists, on the other hand, they generalize all bad events and they take it very personally. What it means: if a pessimist didn't pass the exam, he's gonna think that, okay, it's because I'm very stupid, I never pass any exam well. And they generalize it. They say that everything in my life is bad, I never pass anything, I'm stupid, I'm hopeless, and so on and so on. So you see, optimists see bad events as something small and impersonal, far away from them. Pessimists see bad events as something big and personal, explained by their own mistakes, and so on. And the opposite, when we talk about good events, optimists see them as something generalized. So good things always happen to me, and this is like normal, this is a generalization, and they see them as personal. So if I passed the exam, I'm gonna think that it's because I'm so smart and talented. Okay. And pessimists see good events as something impersonal and as something far away and small. So they don't generalize them, they see them as exceptions, not as a rule. So if a pessimist passed some exam, they're gonna think like, oh, well, I passed this exam because I was just lucky, but normally I'm very stupid and normally I never pass anything. Okay, so they don't generalize it. And they find some outside explanations to events. If you feel uncertain what I mean, please check out previous videos. There it's better explained. But what can we do to actually change our interpretation style, and who should do it? As I explained in the previous video, both optimistic and pessimistic interpretation styles contain some distortions. And both of them can be used in some cases, like if you decide in whether or not you should invest all of your savings in some risky business, thinking that you might be not that smart can save you a lot of money. Okay, but normally our brain is predisposed to pessimist thinking, and we think more pessimistically much more often than we need to. So today we're going to talk about how to change that. Let's begin. Our ABCDE technique. A in this technique means action. These are facts without any judgment, emotion attached to them. For example, a fact is that my weight is 70 kilograms. Is it fat? Is it not fat? Is it ugly? Is it beautiful? All those are judgments. They are not facts. So number one, we write down the fact. This is a writing exercise, by the way, so you need to write it down. A, action. We write down facts. B, beliefs. Here we write down all of our thoughts and thinking process about those facts. Let's say my friend didn't call me. This is a fact. My friend did not call me today. My thoughts might be that they don't love me, or something happened to them, or they don't care about me, or maybe they got robbed. What if they died? And so on and so on. All those are my beliefs and thoughts about this situation. In this number two, beliefs, you can have just shallow automatic thoughts like what an asshole, he didn't call. Or you can have something deeper, like your general beliefs about the world, other people, general, like assumptions you have about your friend, let's say, and so on. So number two, B, beliefs. Number three, C, consequences. In this point, we describe what consequences our thoughts bring us. Like, for example, if I think that I don't deserve it, my friend doesn't respect me, he's so arrogant that he doesn't call me, and so on, I'm gonna feel angry, and maybe I will feel an impulse to behave aggressively towards this friend. These would be the consequences of those thoughts. Or another example, if I think that, oh, my friend doesn't love me, nobody loves me, and I feel sad, and because I feel sad and lonely, I want to smoke a cigarette. This is also consequence. So in number C, we write down feelings that we get from our thoughts and behaviors that we commit or that we want to commit because of those negative or positive thoughts. By the way, thoughts can be positive as well. Like, for example, let's say, the fact is that I passed the exam and my thinking is like, oh, I'm so smart, I'm so talented, what next can I do? And I feel enthusiastic, and I have impulse to study for another subject for the next exam, let's say. So this is like a positive spiral. But here we're going to talk about mostly negative, because normally ABCD technique is used in negative things. But if you are someone who devalues their positive experience, you might use it for positives as well. So number one, A, action. Number two, B, beliefs. Number three, C, consequences. In consequences, we have our emotions, feelings, and our behaviors. Number four, disputing. In this point, we take each of our thoughts from the second point, B, beliefs, and dispute them. Find why they are not true, why they might be wrong, and so on. This way we dispute our negative beliefs. And number five is energizing, E, ABCDE. Energizing explains the consequences of disputing your beliefs. So basically it is the same exercise that we did before. First we separate facts and interpretations, A, B, then we separate and then we dispute pessimistic interpretations into optimistic ones, and noticing how this changes your emotions. This is done as a written exercise, and it is important. I will tell you why. It can be tiring to write everything down, but first of all, our brain changes better when we write it down by hand. But also, at some point, your brain gonna get tired of writing down your pessimistic thoughts, and it's gonna be like, oh no, I'm not gonna think all this anymore. At least I won't have to do this stupid exercise. So this exercise is supposed to be a bit annoying. If it is annoying a bit for you, then you're doing everything right. So how to use it? First of all, A, write down the facts. What exactly happened, as if a robot or a camera films it. B, write down your thoughts that appear as responses about this event in your mind. Number C, write down your emotions and behaviors triggered by those thoughts. D, write down counter arguments and switch pessimistic interpretations into optimistic ones. And number 5, E, write down how you feel now and what you are motivated to do now, how your experience changed after this exercise. Let's make a simple example. I will read it out. A, I did not pass the math exam. B, thoughts. I should have prepared better. Why am I so stupid that I can never do anything right? It's such a shame. I will never be able to live a good life. I am the worst. So these were automatic beliefs. C, consequences. I feel ashamed, upset, depressed. I want to eat 5 kilograms of ice cream and spend all night watching movies to avoid those emotions. D, disputing. I did the best I could with the time and energy that I had. Blaming myself is not helping. Instead, I will learn from this mistake. I will analyze how I can manage my time and energy better. This is a learning experience. I can do many things right and I am smart. I just didn't estimate correctly this time how to prepare. You can see what we do here. We switch from pessimistic into optimistic ones. The initial thought was, what was it? It's such a shame. I will never be able to live a good life. I am the worst. This is a very pessimistic thought, and we switch it into optimistic one. I can do many things right and I am smart. I just didn't estimate correctly this time how to prepare. I need to make a plan, prepare better, and then I will easily pass this exam. More optimistic. Then, making one mistake is not shameful and literally not a big deal. People who don't make mistakes are those who do nothing. Literally everyone had such an experience in their life. It is normal. Mistakes are an opportunity to learn and adapt. I am brave for daring to live a life where I can make mistakes. So with time and experience, I will achieve my goal. Plus, the exam really was much more difficult than expected. Not me, but 3 other students didn't pass. And then after we disputed our number 4, then we write down what we feel now, how we feel after this exercise, and what behaviors we want to participate in after that. For example, me, after writing down all of those, I feel calmer, more confident, motivated to start taking steps to fix the situation. So yes, how can we dispute any thought or belief? There are several ways. Type of disputing number 1 is check the facts. Is the thought truthful or not? You can even write down facts in favor of it and facts against this statement. For example, in the initial text we had I am the worst, but the facts say otherwise. 3 other people didn't pass the exam, so I am not the worst. Or it says I'm stupid, I cannot do anything right. No, this is obviously not true, because you did at least some things right in your life, and so on. So number 1 is check the facts. What are the arguments in favor of this thought and what are the arguments against this thought? Number 2 is get rid of all negative generalization. So instead of saying that I never pass any exams, I am dumb as hell, you just write down that I did thousands of things right, and just this one time I did something wrong, okay? So we replace generalized statements with very concrete, limited in place, limited in time, limited to this concrete situation. Okay. By the way, this is also useful when you interpret what other people do and what they say and so on. Like if you say you never do this, this is a generalization. It's better to address one particular situation than a general, assumption about something. Number 3 is switch your pessimistic interpretations into optimistic ones. So instead of writing, I am so stupid, I can never do anything right, replace it with, I am smart, it was just a normal one-time mistake. Number 4, ask yourself if this thought is helpful for you right now or not. For example, yes, many people die in car accidents, but if you are driving at this moment and feeling panicky about yourself driving, maybe imagining all the horrible accidents you can get into is not exactly helpful to you right now. You can think about it when you're safe outside of the car. And when you found that your thought is not helpful for yourself, then replace it with a helpful thought. For example, blaming myself is not helping. Instead, I will learn from this mistake. I will analyze how I can manage my time and energy better. This is a learning experience. So this way you can choose the way of thinking that will be more helpful for you in this particular situation. And sometimes our thoughts might be true, but they don't help us in this situation at all. So if some thought is harming you or harming your progress towards your goal, just replace this thought with another thought that will be helpful for you to progress. And number 5, fifth way of disputing is finding other explanations for this event. For example, writing down 10 different explanations to the same event. Let's take our event of not passing the exam. One explanation is that you're stupid, but there are 9 other possible explanations. For example, that the teacher is bad, that he didn't estimate the difficulty of the tasks right, that you didn't sleep well enough these days, so you were feeling tired, and that's why you didn't pass it, and so on and so on. So invent as many different ways to see the same event as possible and choose those that will help you the most. And remember that your thoughts are not really reality itself. They are just your perception of reality, and if you change those thoughts, you can basically perceive the same event from completely different sides and feel completely differently about it. So let's revise. You can dispute in 5 main ways. First of all, check the facts. What are arguments in favor and against this thought? Number 2, get rid of all the negative generalizations. Number 3, change pessimistic interpretations into optimistic ones. Number 4, think if this way of thinking is helpful to you right now, and replace unhelpful thoughts with helpful thoughts. And number 5, if you can, find many other explanations to the same event, so that you see that basically the same event can be explained in very, very different ways. And the last part, energizing, is also very important because it helps you understand how these exercises influence your feelings and your motivation to behave in a certain way. So once you finish this exercise, write down energizing and analyze how the change in your thoughts influences your feelings and behaviors. So some important rules that you need to apply when you some important rules when you use this technique. Number 1, if you do this exercise and it didn't help you so much, most likely you just didn't notice all of your negative thoughts that are needed to be disputed. So some of them hid themselves or something. You need to find them and change them as well. So repeat this exercise several times until you feel improvement. And depending on the situation, this exercise can last 5 minutes or 1 hour, or even several hours. Sorry, I'm in a hurry, so I'm speaking so weirdly. Rule number two, it is essential to write it all down. This exercise is supposed to be kind of annoying and tiring, so that next time negative thoughts just jump in your mind, you say, oh no, I don't want this work, I will think positively, just don't want to do this exercise. So it is supposed to be written. You're supposed to make some effort to do this exercise so that it increases your motivation to avoid those like negative ways of thinking. Okay, and rule number 3 is practice and repetition. As you know, our brains are pretty conservative phenomena, I don't know. So to change something in your thinking, you need to constantly practice, and after some time it becomes your second nature. So in order to change your old interpretation style, you need to practice this exercise again and again and again and again. And after some time, it will become completely natural and automatic for you to think in this more helpful way. And I recommend you using this technique for several weeks, like 1-2 weeks, every evening, for example, analyzing the events of the day. And once you get used to it, you can use it only when you feel unwell. For example, you feel sad or irritated or angry and so on. And in several months, you will be able to stop your negative thoughts at their appearance without needing to write them down. And in a longer time, your interpretation style is going to change. So you're going to automatically interpret reality outside you in a new way. And that's it. And this can really be helpful in your job or in achieving basically any goal. So your home task is this ABCDE technique every evening for a week, and then repeating it when you feel unwell. And please share this video in all the social networks, send it to your friends, and so on. And I hope this is clear. If not, listen to it again. Sorry.